Welcome to the start of a new video series. In this video, we're going to begin the development of a VR game set in the fictional city of Springfield. I don't yet have an in-depth plan for what I want the game to be, but I'll be going forward with two main focuses in mind. Exploration. I want the player to be able to move around and feel as though they are part of the world. Part of this will be allowing them to interact with the items around them. Another big component of this will be offering more freedom than has been seen in previous Simpsons games. The second is immersion. At the modelling stage, having accuracy in both meshes and texturing will be a big aspect in creating an immersive experience. To help with this, I also want to keep loading screens to a minimum, specifically when entering interiors. The Simpsons game and Hit and Run offer great examples of when immersion does and doesn't work. The Simpsons game's attention to detail, especially when roaming around the house, with the cel-shaded look, offers a great experience which in my opinion, is where it shines in comparison to Hit and Run. However, the inconsistent and incorrect scaling quickly ruins the immersion, which Hit and Run does well. Now I can get to work. I'll start with creating the house inside a Blender. From there, I can move the assets over to a new Unreal project, probably in the second video of the series. Before I open Blender, I'm going to find a floor plan that I'll be following as I create the house. This one appears to be an official layout, so I'll go with that. Something odd that I've noticed is that the floor plan places Maggie's room here and the bathroom here. That would give Maggie a tiny window and leave the bathroom with absolutely no privacy. So as I go forward, I'll be switching them around. Now after opening Blender, I can import the layout and begin roughly tracing it. This will be the exterior wall. I'll create a separate mesh for the interior walls. Now I can extrude upwards to create the walls. This is the floor plan that I'm using for the upstairs. I'm noticing here that the floor plans seem to be mismatched, so I'm just going to eyeball it for the upstairs and see how that goes. And like the downstairs, I'm extruding up by the same height. Now I can extrude the exterior walls. And with the walls done, I can begin creating the doorways. To cut them out of the walls, I'm using the Boolean modifier. Now I can do this for the rest. Since I'm doing the basement doorway now, I'm just going to add the walls where the stairs will be. And that's the downstairs doorways done. Before I do the upstairs, I want to add the last room, which is the attic. Since I'm doing that, I may as well add the roof too. Now it's starting to look more like a Simpsons house, and after a lot more work, here's the result. All it needs now is to be textured. This is a random image I found of the house. I'm using this to get the hex values. Going back to Blender, I can create a new material, and since the Simpsons is essentially just solid colours separated by outlines, all I really need to change is the base colour. I'll do the same for the roof. Clearly this is a waste of materials, so inside of PowerPoint I'm going to create a colour palette instead. I'll add a table with each cell representing a pixel. 32 by 32 I think should be enough. As you can see, I've added the first two colours, and to convert the table to an image I've created a macro. Now when I add a new colour, all I need to do is press this button and the palette will be regenerated. So I'll head back into Blender and remove one of the materials. Moving over to the shading tab, I'm just adding an image texture node and plugging it into the base colour. Now I can go over to the UV tab, and I can scale all the UVs to 0. All I need to do now is move them to the correct colour. Now I need to add the rest of the colours, and here's the result of that. To give the window some transparency, I'm going to duplicate the palette material. And I'll just reduce the alpha. To remove the dithering, I'll just change the render method to blended. Here, you can see the ensuite needs a texture for the flowers on the wall, so I'm going to create that inside a GIMP. This is the reference I'll be using. Here I'm tracing the image with the path tool, which I'll use to get the outline and the colour. And here's the texture now applied. As you can see, the house is remarkably empty, so now I guess it's time for the hard part, creating the assets inside the house. Since I don't want to sacrifice accuracy for the sake of time, using already available assets online will be out of the picture. And since this is a VR game, using assets from previous Simpsons games also won't work since higher detail models are needed, so it looks like I'll be creating the models from scratch. Before I begin making the assets, I've created a library of references which I'll be updating as I continue the project. From there I created a list of all the assets that need creating. Yeah, it's a lot. Since it's so iconic, I'll start with the TV. And that's it. Now for texturing. So I was about to update the palette, but I'm beginning to realise that I don't want to add colours if there's a similar colour that already exists. To avoid this, I've created a script that tests whether or not a colour close to the one I want to add already exists. I'll quickly show you how it works. Once you press this button, you'll enter the new colour's hex value, and if it, or one close to it, already exists, the colour will be given across. If it doesn't, this is the message you'll see. Now I can add some colour to the TV. For the screen, I'll assign an empty material, so once in Unreal, a texture to display the videos can be created. And that's the TV done. Now I can add it back to the house. Now I just need to create the rest of the assets. So I've been working over the past few months to finish everything on the list, and while it isn't complete yet, enough progress has been made to move forward with the project. So here's the final result. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video.